Hey everybody, welcome back to the shop. This is Todd with Industrial Comfort. If you're a woodworking enthusiast, you have to have a ring or circle cutting jig for your router. It's an absolute must. It's really easy to make, and they do a terrific job cutting perfect rings and circles every time. Let me show you how to make one. The things you're going to need for this project are the plunge base for your router. In this case, I'm using a Bosch 1617 variable speed. We're going to need a piece of scrap wood. Now, the sweet spot here is a 1/2 inch. If you go anything below a 1/2 inch, you're going to compromise stability. Anything larger than a 1/2 inch, and you're going to reduce your plunging capacity. So I have found 1/2 inch to work really well. Now, the other things we're going to need are 4 bolts and corresponding nuts. Now, in this case, I've chosen to use 1/4 inch bolts that are mated to butterfly nuts. I'm choosing butterfly nuts so that I don't have to deal with a wrench when I take the plunge base off and on the jig here. And then the 4th one here is going to be used for the pivot point. Now finally, we're going to need either an up or a down spiral bit, and we'll talk about when and how we're going to use this later. Now, you have a plastic base that will be affixed to the bottom of your plunge base here. I am choosing to use the large bolts, or the large holes here, and I have 3 of them, one here, here, and here, as they don't correspond to any threading on the plate here. So the other thing that I forgot to mention is that this is about 2 feet long. Now, the length of this is really just going to be determined by the size of ring or circle that you're going to be cutting in your material. So the first thing that I'm going to do is kind of get things lined up, and I'm going to take a pencil and I'm going to trace holes here where I'm going to drill for the bolts to pass through. Now, I'm going to start by using a 1/2 inch Forstner bit to countersink some holes so that the heads of these screws sit flush against this material. We don't want anything sitting off the deck here, as it'll catch as we're going around and making our cut. Then I'll go ahead and I'll chase it with a 1/4 inch drill bit, which is again the diameter of these bolts. Now, it probably would have been smarter to use a flathead bolt. It just makes the process of countersinking a little bit easier, but this is what I happen to have on hand, and I'm going to work with it. I've reattached the plate here to the bottom of the plunge base. It is worth noting that if you do need extra plunge capacity, you don't need to put this back on. So with the holes now drilled and countersunk, I'm going to push the bolts through the bottom here, and we'll attach the base. Now you'll notice that the butterflies don't go down all the way, and the corners here will act as a natural stop as we screw these from beneath. Okay, with this now attached, we're going to use the, I believe this is an up spiral bit. So we're going to put this in the router. Okay, I'm now going to get a piece of sacrificial wood that we're going to put beneath the jig here so that we can plunge a hole in this template. with the plunge base removed again, we've got our plunge hole right here. And what I've done is I've drawn a center line down the middle here, and then roughly at 1.5 inches off center on the bottom here, I drew 2 other notches that I ran up to the center point here on the outside of the circle, and then the center point here on the inside of the circle. Now this is really important. When you're cutting circles and rings, the interior is going to be where you're going to measure for the outside of your ring, as opposed to the outside of this plunge sort of circle here, which is going to be the interior of your circle. So I've gone ahead and printed out these rulers from, I think it's called printruler.net. I'll put a link in the description for this. And what I'll do is line these up so that the one for the exterior or outer diameter, the OD, will start from the inside of the circle, and the outer diameter for rings will start on the outside up here. So I'm going to get some spray glue and just get these in place. And what I've done here is I've marked out 12 inches as though I were going to make a ring, and then 12 inches here as though I was going to make a circle, and I'll mark on either side what it's for. This will allow us to make circles for our pivot points, or I should say drill holes for our pivot points, depending on how large we want the radius of the circle to be, and it'll make it pain-free given the fact that we've got these rulers. I've glued the ruler strips to each side of the center here, one denoting the outer diameter of a ring and or a circle, depending on what we're cutting. The other side being the inner diameter of a ring, if that's what we're going to cut. Now, for the workpiece that we're going to be using to cut a ring today, I wanted it to be 2 inches with a radius of 8.5 inches on the inner diameter. So I've drilled a pivot point at 8.5 inches on the ruler, and then 10.5 inches, which will serve as the outer diameter of the ring. So let's give it a shot. You always want to make sure that you have a buffer underneath your workpiece for 2 reasons. One, so that you don't destroy the table or workbench that you're making the cuts on, and number 2, to prevent tear out. So what I've done is use some double-sided tape to stick this piece of plywood onto another piece of plywood that's then taped to the top of this piece of plywood that surveys my workbench here. So I'm going to take a bolt, this is the 1/4 inch bolt, and I'm going to start with the outer diameter of the ring. I always want to make sure that I cut the outside first to ensure that we have maximum stability when we're cutting the interior ring. So I'm just going to correspond this to the what's ultimately going to be the center point of our ring. Okay. With that now in place, I'm going to put my safety equipment on. It's also important that you wrap the cord over your shoulder, because this thing is going to be going around and you don't want the cord to get twisted. I'm also going to move stuff off the workbench here, make sure we have good clearance. I don't have dust collection hooked up to this, so unfortunately stuff's going to be going everywhere. I'm also going to go down in 1/8 inch increments. You never want to try to plunge it all at once, or else you're going to get a lot of bucking. The chips won't evacuate properly. It'll be a mess. So we'll take a pass. We'll then vacuum it out. It'll take us a couple of passes, but you'll see how great this works. Okay, with the outer portion cut, I'm just going to change the pivot point to the 8.5, drop it back into the center point here, and we'll now cut the inner diameter of this ring here. As you can see, it's a really quick, amazing jig to help you cut perfect rings and circles every time. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. Thanks for watching.